inquiry, you mentioned that you looked into 2 diet methods that could benefit your weight loss goals. The blood type diet seems more favourable in our eyes in comparison to the HCG diet. The blood type diet is based on eating foods that circulate around your specific blood type, O, A, B or B, which we believe is the better option out of the 2. It was created by Peter D. Adamo, a naturopathic physician whose objective is that foods that you eat will have a chemical reaction with your blood type and would digest your food more efficiently, as you'll have more energy and can help prevent disease. The idea of a specific physical activity and eating the right food types with a specific type of protein called lectins that are incomparable to one's blood type can cause agglutination or blood cell clumping. Type A blood, known as the cultivator, requires a meat-free diet based on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, and legumes. As Type A people have lower and sensitive immune systems, therefore an organic and fresh diet is ideal. The recommended physical activity for this group is classified as a safety valve, which is made up of anti-stress and mood-improving qualities. Type B blood, known as the nomad, requires eating green vegetables, eggs, and certain meats like beef and pork, as chicken is problematic to this blood type. He specifies to avoid corn, wheat, buckwheat, lentils, and peanuts. Meditation and visualization techniques for physical activity appear especially effective as it decreases cortisol levels during meditation and increases cortisol responsiveness, which prevents maladaptation to stress. Type AB blood, known as the Enigma, are rare individuals that have an omnivorous diet including tofu, seafood, dairy and grains, fruits and vegetables. However, people with AB blood tend to have a lower stomach acid, which means to avoid alcohol, caffeine or cured meats. The physical activity is not limited in conjunction to having both blood types. Type O blood, known as the hunter, requires high protein intake on lean meat, poultry, fish and vegetables, as people with this blood type tend to have stomach troubles. Diamando recommends various supplements and minimal grains, beans and dairy. The recommended physical activity for this group is of stress prescription, whereby these individuals can respond well to intense cardiovascular or resistance exercise. As you've mentioned, Amy, your blood type is O, the hunter, which determines what food you can or cannot eat, which poses numerous limitations to your diet. These restrictions involve dictating diets that have limited food groups, steering away from WHO's guideline to healthy eating, to which some blood type O lacks healthy food groups such as dairy for calcium or whole grains for fiber. As the diet is curated, it may become expensive for you to consistently buy lean meats. Hence, this diet will propose both short-term results as well as long-term prevention with the compromise of restricting your food groups and freedom of eating anything, and is not recommended by nutrition experts. To better understand this, let's look into how metabolism works within the body and how food digests.
Metabolism is a process by which an individual's body transforms food into energy. Respiration takes place during the process, converting glucose into carbon dioxide and water by mixing with oxygen. Energy is released during the process in the form of adenosine triphosphate, known as ATP. When we consume food, the mouth is the first organ that processes the food, and that is where the digestion of carbohydrates begins. When we physically break down the food into smaller pieces, amylase is also released by salivary glands. Amylase is able to break down the sugars contained within carbohydrates. After that, the food will enter our stomach via the esophagus. But carbohydrates will not be processed within these 2 organs. The small intestine is the place where the most digestion of carbohydrates takes place. Enzymes like amylase are secreted by the pancreas, and maltase, sucrase, and lactase enzymes are released from the wall of the small intestine. Polysaccharides or disaccharides are then broken down by the enzymes into glucose or other products. Once glucose is absorbed, the excess amount will be stored in the liver as glycogen. And once the storage is full, it will be then converted to fat by the liver and adipocytes. Unlike carbohydrates, the digestion of protein begins in the stomach. Inside of our stomach, an enzyme called pepsin is able to break down the protein into smaller chains known as proteases and peptones. After that, the product will carry on and enter our small intestines. The protein digestion enzymes like trypsin presented in our small intestines. They are part of the pancreatic juice and the production of the pancreas. The small intestine is also where the main absorption takes place, thanks to the microbellies. There's some finger-like structures on the surface of the small intestines. These special structures surprisingly increase the surface area, which allows for better absorption of amino acids and nutrients. We can only consume a limited amount of proteins, so any excess will be converted into glucose. Similar to protein, the digestion of fat mainly takes place in the stomach and our small intestines. Inside of our stomach, we can find an enzymatic protein called gastric lipase. The key function of it is to break down fat into diglycerides and fatty acids, or in 2 to 4 hours. During this process, roughly 30% of fat is being converted. After that, chyme from the stomach will reach our small intestines with a mixing of bile. Bile is a production of the liver. It contains bile salts, lysine, and emulsifiers that emulsify fats into droplets. Meanwhile, a production from the pancreas called lipase is also released. It is able to further break down fats into fatty acids and monoglycerides. After all of these processes, microvilli will allow for the absorption and transportation for the broken down fats. The broken down fat, triglycerides, will be stored in adipocytes. Adipocytes are able to generate small of themselves when they are saturated from the triglyceride, so the storage of fat is never an issue. That's why there's hardly any weight limit for a human being. So after learning all of these digesting processes, how does the weight loss method affect our normal metabolism process? The short answer is not really. Our metabolism is mainly affected by our body size and body composition. Basically, higher your weight, higher the metabolism. And under the same weight, having more muscle can also give you a higher metabolism. Our body requires a basic amount of energy to sustain our life and the organs within us. The amount is called basal metabolic rate. So after knowing our body is constantly consuming energy, the simple solution of losing weight is to consume less energy than we would burn out.
In the blood type diet, type B and type AB diets are more comprehensive and provide the most nutrients needed in a balanced diet, whereas type A and type O diets limit the intake of certain healthy foods and thus fail to balance the number of nutrients needed in a balanced diet. For example, the blood type A diet focuses on a vegetarian, meat-free and dairy-free diet. This is disadvantageous because the restriction of consuming meat leads to the deprivation in the intake of protein, which assists in repairing cells in the body or making new cells and is also essential for growth and development. Omega-3 fatty acids, which assist in maintaining heart, lung, and immune system functioning, and micronutrients such as zinc, selenium, iron, and vitamin B12, which are necessary for energy production. Furthermore, the lack of dairy intake may have a negative toll on the body, as dairy products also contain a large amount of calcium, which gives structure and hardness to teeth and bones, and vitamin D, which help regulate the amount of calcium and phosphate in the body. Lack of these nutrients may lead to fatigue, which may even cause you to pass out on the train after a long day at work, and trust me, not fun. A diet with blood type O can be classified as a diet which is low carb, limiting foods such as donuts or pizza, and high protein, increasing the intake of foods such as poultry and fish. This may lead to a high intake of fat. According to observational studies, this leads to an increased risk of certain types of cancer. However, nutrition experts do not recommend that people follow a diet based on blood type for long periods because the diet restricts the intake of many healthy foods.
Among blood type diet, the A blood type diet allows people on a balanced daily diet to switch to a similar vegetarian diet, and such a switch can be beneficial. As a large study of nearly 3,000 people find that those who switched from a non-vegetarian to a vegetarian diet had a 53% lower risk of developing diabetes over an average of 5 years. In the blood type diet, each blood type plan emphasizes healthy food choice over processed food, which is a choice that contributes to healthy. And each blood type diet plan encourages dieters to exercise, and studies have shown that regular exercise combined with a healthy diet is associated with weight loss and promotes weight management. Also, the implementation of a blood type diet can provide some weight loss through the combination of healthy diet and regular exercise. Scientists reviewed 16 previously published reports on blood diet type and concluded that there is still no evidence to confirm that the blood type diet is an effective weight loss strategy.
Due to the restriction of certain types of food in the dietary plan designed for various blood types, people who follow this kind of diet may not be able to take enough vitamins and nutritional elements. This may have negative consequences to one's health and well-being, and above all that, there is little to no scientific evidence to prove that the blood type diet is an effective weight loss strategy. So would we recommend it? I guess it's a no from us.